It's Poison Ivy time! Hello, welcome to another figure review. Today we're going to have a look at the DC Collectibles DC Bombshells Poison Ivy figure. Now, this is a figure I had for a long time, came out originally in December of the year 2013, almost 10 years old. And why am I reviewing an old figure? Because I kind of felt like it. The DC Bombshells lineup is a series of comic books, figures, and whatnot that DC did, and basically it's a reality where female superheroes got the home front during World War II. What we got from that were a bunch of cool designs, a bunch of cool ideas, really giving you that old school look of the 40s, and that's why I love it. And also I only picked up Poison Ivy because that's one of my favorite characters. Very seductive in nature already, and I like green, I like red, so there we go. Let's have a look at the figure. Size for Poison Ivy, I'm going to take this entire getup with the base. Goes up to like 16 centimeters to the top of the hat, and if you're getting like the vines and whatnot in the back, that would be like 18 and a half for your inches. That means we're going up to slightly over 6 and a half inches to the top of the hat. And once again, going to the vines, that would be like almost 7.5 inches tall. Size comparisons. Here's Jolter, the SH Figure Arts Son Goku, NECA Michelangelo, the DC Bishoujo Poison Ivy, McFarlane Toys Kingdom Come Batman, and Darkseid. I think the real reason I wanted to go back to this figure is because it's so interesting in so many ways. First and foremost, it's made out of porcelain. So other than the rest of the figures I usually review, this one, yeah, it's a lot heavier, but also a lot more fragile, especially in the thin vines. I even had to glue this one. I think there's like a spot over there, because it broke out of the box. They had like a thick foam in there, and getting this figure even out, I remember, was a hassle. But that was over 10 years, that was almost 10 years ago, so let's have a look at the detail. The paint goes from looking pretty good to what the hell happened here. As you can tell in the face, I don't know, she seems a little bit googly-eyed, but only if you're really going in very closely. And also there seems to be some damage around the mouth, and the mouth is also not perfectly painted. It's like small issues, and she does have a little bit of a Michael Jackson nose, doesn't she? And then you look at the rose, you have like the highlights in the pink, which looks very, very pretty, and the hair sculpt also has like some gloss over here, and you can tell they just like effed this completely up because it looks like it's kind of dripping off there, so they use a little bit excess paint. The hair sculpt is absolutely beautiful. You have a lot of strains going down, but you also have a little bit of a too much of a gap where the hand is just reaching into it. But for the rest of it, I mean, I love the sculpt on it. And the paint looks clean. There's some type of dry brushing. Have the single butterfly on the elbow. And as you can tell, a lot of tattoos going on, which the look of the tattoos are beautiful. I think it fits the character, and you even have some cool ideas, like on this side, on the elbow, you have a bat symbol. The problem with the tattoos, however, is that they use some decals for it. It's not printed on, and it's not, obviously this is not hand painted. If you would hand paint this, that would be insane. But I don't know if you can tell under the camera where the decal is starting. There is a little bit of a difference, and as such, the pale skin is yellowing just a little bit on that part. And once again, that's just a detail you will only see if you zoom in and you go into the details, but that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here to show you. Same with the chest area. You have some excess paint just on this part and over here and on the boobage, which kind of takes you out of it a little bit. Straps are first and foremost, I think they're not actually molded on, they just use a little bit of extra paint on it to make it seem like it's molded, and as you can tell, it's not painted on very cleanly. But then you have the boba, which looks good, and the entire bra area also has some nice details, some shading in it, really like dry brushing to bring out the lighter parts. And I love the combination of the dark green and the lighter one, but then once again, I have some more unclean lines that just go around the chest. And going around we go to have a look at the butt, but that's kind of hidden by the vines. But still, there's that. Also some more detail in the ponzu. Like, it's ponzu time, even though it's right there. I don't really have to announce it because we've already been looking at it. And we also have the stockings, which have some more dry brushing, highlighting the parts, the brighter parts, which for stockings, I feel like it looks kind of unnatural, but I'm talking about a comic book plant woman that wears stockings. So saying stuff like unnatural seems weird, right? It's overall a nice looking paint job, but the point I'm trying to get across is it doesn't look like stocking. It doesn't really convey that in the paint job, that is. And some green high heels. We also got the Poison Ivy logo in the front, which once again is just a decal. You can see the lines around it, which is just kind of bothering me now that I look at it. And you also have the official artwork of the character, which she appeared in, like, I think she was in the comic books, but for the most part she was wearing a dress, because I guess you couldn't have her run around in just lingerie. I also want to focus though on the vines, those frail freaking vines, which the paint job on those are amazing. You could say it's maybe a little too dirty because they used a ton of dry brushing to really make it look darker, especially on these weird piranha plants or like Venus flytraps, whatever it is. But I think it looks great. It kind of fits the tone, and it works with like having such a bright skin toned character, but also like everything in the stockings and whatnot is muted, so it works in tandem with the rest of the figure. There was also a sepia version of this one, which I didn't get obviously. I wanted the colorful one because I like the greens, and obviously the vines in the back come together to have the heart shape in the upper part. But once again, everything also is just kind of connected into the base and not very tightly. All of it is fairly wobbly. And also it takes up some space. That's my main complaint really with this figure. I kind of keep running around a little bit sometimes, and having the vines just leaning to the back like that, it will always just kind of clash with a lot of other things you have. And that's just something I just want to mention. And again, you don't want to break this off, like especially the teeth on the Venus flytraps. Let me zoom in on that real quick. Alright, these tiny teeth. Yeah, those are super frail. The bigger ones, the ones with the more solid teeth, are better. But yeah, it's a great figure. It's a cool look. But man, does it have problems. Final thoughts, and doing a final thoughts on a figure that came out like 10 years ago seems kind of whatever, because tracking this down today isn't an easy feature. Now, my recommendation is, I mean, I love the design. That's really the reason I got it. I think it's unique, it's cool, and the entire lineup of the DC Bombshells had some really cool looking figures. But since I'm a sucker for Poison Ivy, that was my choice, and I don't regret it. Is it a great figure? Probably not. With all the issues going on around it, and especially some of the sloppy paint, especially considering that back in the day, this figure also wasn't that cheap, and again, trying to track it down in this day and age probably will cost you a bit. It's a cool figure, it's a cool design, and yeah, I mean, that's about it from me. I like this figure, and I really recommend it, but don't pay too much for it and ask for pictures, especially since it has such a fragile nature that hopefully you don't get something that's like broken off and whatnot. So, you know, that's gonna do it. That's all I have to say for today. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, hit it up with a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for more figure reviews, card game stuff, and whatever Poison Ivy wants.